It's English time! Come on and join me as we learn English the easy way! Hello, grade 10! Your teacher is back! I bet you're all excited for our last lesson for quarter 2. So, without further ado, let's begin! The target most essential learning competency for this video is compose text, which include multimodal elements. Communication is not only relaying messages through voice and letters. It does not limit its purpose to verbal and written text. Communication uses multimodal. When technology came into this world, different modes of communication came to existence. They are called multimodal. Many texts are multimodal, where meaning is communicated through combinations of 2 or more modes. Modes include written language, spoken language, and patterns of meaning that are visual, audio, gestural, tactile, and spatial. Multimodal texts include picture books, textbooks, graphic novels, comics, and posters, where meaning is conveyed to the reader through varying combinations of visual, written language, and spatial modes. Aside from this, meron din tayong tinatawag na digital multimodal text. Examples of this are film, animation, slideshows, e-posters, digital stories, and web pages, which convey meaning through combinations of written and spoken language, visual, audio, gestural, and spatial modes. We also have live multimodal texts, such as dance, performance, and oral storytelling, which convey meaning through combinations of modes such as gestural, spatial, spoken language, and audio. Multimodal text can be print, physical, or digital. Here are some examples of types of multimodal texts. Now, let's talk about the elements of multimodal text. Remember that a text may be defined as multimodal when it combines 2 or more elements, such as visual, audio or oral, gestural, linguistic, and spatial. Visual. The visual mode refers to the images and characters that people see, examples of which are color, vectors, and viewpoint in still and moving images. Take a look at this no gun symbol. The visual element dominates on this sign. However, we might be able to say that the sign uses the spatial mode as well, since the gun appears behind the red bar that signals no or not allowed. Spatial mode has something to do with the arrangement of elements in space. Deeper explanation about this element will be provided in the succeeding slides. Let's proceed to another element of multimodal text: audio or oral. The oral mode is focused on sound, including, but not limited to, music, sound effects, ambient noises, silence, tone of voice in spoken language, volume of sound, emphasis, and accent. An example of material presenting the oral mode is President Rodrigo Duterte's State of the Nation Address 2020, recorded and delivered over the radio. Next is gestural. The gestural mode refers to the way movement is interpreted. Facial expressions, movement, hand gestures, body language, and interaction between people are all gestural modes. To create more detail and to convey clearer message, gestural mode can be combined with linguistic, visual, oral, and sometimes even spatial modes. This is true when you watch a performance in a declamation contest. It is a combination of gestural, linguistic, visual, oral, and spatial modes. Another multimodal element is linguistic, also called alphabetic. Linguistic is probably the most widely used mode because it can be both read and heard on both paper or audio. Linguistic refers to written or spoken words. This mode includes vocabulary, structure, grammar of oral or written language, the organization of words into sentences and paragraphs, and the development and coherence of words and ideas. And lastly, spatial. The spatial mode, as the name implies, refers to the arrangement of elements in space. It involves the organization of objects in space, the physical closeness between people and objects, direction, and position of layout. An example of this is the arrangement of desks in a traditional classroom setting like the one presented in this picture. I assume you already have a full grasp of our today's lesson. Let's test your knowledge. Identify the multimodal element that dominates in the images that will be flashed on your screen. Are you ready? Let's begin! Thanks for watching!